Neem cake pellets next on the list.
Yeah, so the neem cake comes from the neem tree. It's the neem. It's also called neem seed meal. Essentially, what it is, it's the pressed version of the seeds. It's what's left after they extract the oil. So it's still going to have some azadirachtin percentage. It's going to vary depending on your source and how well that material was pressed. And it's got an NPK value that's fairly good. I tend to not use Neem as much anymore. When I first started out with Clackamas Coot, Neem was one of his must use amendments, and so we added it to our mixes, and I was using it in Coot's mix at the time, and we still offer it, but I've dialed it back for a couple reasons. One is sort of the ecological impact of shipping a product all the way from India to here, because they're not grown here, it's grown in India, so we have to get that fertilizer here. I just think there's sources that offer us similar nutrient values that can be sourced more locally or sustainably. Second, and this is more of an issue with the oils, but we did one of the good friends of mine was working with a farm in Oregon, and they actually failed for a chemistry of pesticide that hasn't been used in the United States since the 70s. It's been banned. And essentially what happened was that pesticide had been sprayed on the neem tree and then pressed concentrated into the oil. And then when the farmer here used that oil, he ended up failing when he submitted his final flower for testing. And so this is a rare occurrence. I don't think this is something to necessarily be afraid of, but it is a potential source of contamination, and we try to limit those as much as possible. So I just think there's other options that we can turn to that are a little safer, that work just as well.
Wow, since the 70s. It was a long time ago. That's very surprising. Very surprising result.
Well, yeah, so it was obvious that the farmer, the medicinal plant farmer, hadn't been spraying this product because they wouldn't be able to source it. But the fact that it was there in trace amounts on their plant, they traced it back to this oil, and then the oil got traced all the way back to India, where they figured it out essentially. And realistically, the person who was selling the neem oil didn't realize that the product had been contaminated either, because they thought they were sourcing a clean source as well. So when we're getting things internationally, there's a certain level of trust that we're having to put in terms of how that product is produced. I mean, it's worse for our food, frankly, but it's just something to be aware of.
This clip is brought to you by AC Infinity. Use discount code MrGrow at 15 to save on any of their products.